Good morning, Glenn. Well, today we're going to test your knowledge of tornadoes with a little Twister trivia. It is part of an education campaign to help you respond to all sorts of emergencies, including natural disasters and man-made problems.
Today, the focus is on tornadoes, and Todd Pritchard is the Emergency Preparedness Coordinator for Wisconsin Emergency Management. Hi, Todd.
Hi.
Nice to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me back.
Tornado season, it's so cold
it's
outside.
so bizarre, right? We're talking on a day where we've got 10 below wind chills and snow and that kind of stuff. We're not quite there yet, but it's amazing how quickly March is going to turn into April here, and we're trying to get folks to kind of wrap their heads around the fact that we have this usually not so sudden, but this year I'm afraid it's probably going to be a fairly sudden change from winter into spring.
I'm ready for it.
Hit.
Oh yeah, don't worry. It's as fast as it could possibly happen. I'm for it too.
I know, not tornadoes, but the nice weather.
But getting some nice weather.
Tornadoes kind of happen when there's that kind of weird mix or sudden change in the atmosphere, right?
Tornadoes. You're never out of tornado season in Wisconsin. It's every single month. On the calendar, we've had a tornado in Wisconsin. Even in January, we've had January tornadoes. It really is just when you get that mix of very turbulent weather conditions. You get you've got that mix of hot, warm air coming in over the cold air, but it can really happen anytime.
Okay, my daughter always worries about tornadoes for some reason. They can't happen by the lake though. That's what she does. We're safe because we're close to Lake Michigan, right?
Well, you know what? That is one of the great myths.
Oh,
of
it is.
tornadoes.
Oh no,
it is false.
It's false.
You are not saved by tall buildings, by lakes, or anything like that. What happens is when a tornado goes over a lake, it basically it just keeps going. It doesn't stop it. It doesn't. The water temperature doesn't make a difference. It becomes a water spout. Basically, it kind of changes its name a little bit. But no, a tornado can happen anywhere.
Good to know. Nobody's safe.
Nope.
All right, let's do a little tornado trivia, as I like to call it here. And I was told this as a kid. I mean, we lived by this principle. When you go to your basement, you should always go to the southwest corner. True or false, Todd?
False. And you know what? So many people have heard that. They were told that when they were kids. I was told that too. Don't worry about when you go to the basement what corner. The corner does not matter. What matters is you want to get underneath something. You want to get underneath a table. Even like if you have your staircase, if you have a basement staircase, crawl space, something that people generally get injured or killed in tornadoes because stuff falls on them. So you want something to protect you. If you don't have a basement, get to the inside the house as much as you can and as low as you can, away from windows. Interior, like bathrooms, are a great idea. Those kind of areas.
Yep, that's what I heard.
But don't worry about what corner. The corner doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. Now the next question I know is, if you are driving, it is best to go under a bridge or an overpass.
That is false.
It is?
Yes.
See, I would think an overpass, the structure of that would be protection.
But here's the problem. An overpass becomes like a big funnel, like a wind tunnel.
It's the wind.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so that wind that's blowing at maybe 100 or 110 or whatever miles an hour outside suddenly has to go underneath that bridge, and it becomes 200, 300 miles an hour. You're never going to make it through that.
What about a ditch, a low-lying area?
If people ask me that all the time, if you're driving around, I've heard I should get in a ditch. You have very limited choices at that point. Your first thing should be to get to some sort of solid building, either some sort of structure. But if you're literally in the middle of nowhere and you've got that tornado like that picture you saw and it's coming towards you, getting into a ditch is at least a low-lying area, protects you. Tornadoes tend to not, like if the ditch is kind of going like this, the tornado tends to kind of keep going straight. It doesn't go into the dip. But you know what? Those are kind of the best of bad choices at that point.
Right.
Your best choice is...
That's a dilemma.
That is, you're in a jam at that point. Your best choice is when you hear the National Weather Service issues tornado watches all the time. Like the conditions are ripe for having a tornado. When you hear that, take it seriously and think, well, maybe today is not such a great day for me to drive in the middle of nowhere going to some place that maybe I can delay, or maybe I can go later, I can go tomorrow or something like that.
Good call.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's our next one, our third question. When you know a tornado's coming, you should run around your house and open the windows to equalize the pressure between the inside and the outside. I always thought that was a good idea.
I've never heard that.
You know,
See, it shows you different levels of what people know about tornadoes.
well, that's false, and I hear that every once in a while from folks. Now, folks, especially like in the 40s and 50s, were told run around your house to open the window to equalize pressure. Well, first of all, two things: no house is absolutely airtight, so it's the pressure difference is really not going to happen.
Right.
But second of all, the last place you want to be when a tornado is headed toward your house is by the windows, because obviously that storm comes in, it blows out the windows, there's glass flying everywhere. So getting away from the windows is the best thing. Your house is not going to explode. That's the least of your problems. If it gets hit by a tornado, it's going to get hit, and opening the windows is not going to make a difference.
All right, interesting.
Yeah, very quickly, we have one final one, and that is cell phones now have an app that will warn you if there's a tornado, true or false?
Right, that is true. And this is an awesome new development in warning systems, that if you have a cell phone that's a newer phone, probably within the last year or so, it has an app on it that's there. You don't have to download it, you don't have to pay for it, it's already in your phone, and it will alert you when a tornado warning has been issued, and other kind of life-threatening situations. But tornado warning is probably the one that we would get the most around here. And it sets off a little different tone. It won't sound like your phone's ringing. It'll set off a little different tone. And it detects where you are. So if you're in the area, if you are standing with your phone in the area that the tornado warning's been issued, it'll automatically go to your phone.
Oh,
That's
wow,
nice.
that's amazing.
That's great.
Another great thing to have, you brought just an example real quickly, is an emergency weather alert radio. This one has an alarm clock on it too. They're just like $30.
Right.
And you can get them at drugstores,
You can get 'em
discount
at
stores.
Walgreens, you can get them at Farm and Fleet, you can get them anywhere. And they're very inexpensive, about $30. But the great thing about it is that it will alert you to weather conditions, especially like when you're asleep.
Yeah.
The radio just sits on your countertop and does nothing except when that alert
Except
goes
when it
off.
needs to.
And the alarm sounds. It has a verbal radio that tells you, hey, here's where the tornado is, here's what you need to do. So, the cell phone app is great for kind of a red flag, hello, there's a problem, but it doesn't really give you that much detail. This is great in terms of it really gives you a lot of detail, and so inexpensive. Really, everybody should have one.
Love that.
Great. If you want to be tornado ready, here's the information. readywisconsin.wi.gov, 608-242-3324. Thanks, Todd.
You're welcome. Thanks
Nice
for
to
having
have
me
you
again.
back on the show.
Great
Come
having me.
back. It's always a blast.
Thank you.